Discover the heartwarming truth, how a little girl's incredible party turns pain into joy for her family in the heart of a small Midwestern town where trees stood tall and children filled the air with laughter. 8-year-old Lily was dreaming big. Her father's birthday was just around the corner, and every year, it was a festival of silly hats, colorful balloons, and delicious cake. But this year, overshadowed by uncertainty, it all seemed different. Since he lost his job at the factory, the vibrant sounds of their home had faded into whispers of worry. Yet, Lily, a bundle of dreams and hope, decided to spread joy like glitter all around her. With a heart full of determination, she gathered colorful scraps of paper and began crafting invitations. The excitement in her little fingers danced with every fold and snip. The invitations were lined with bright markers, and she drew smiley faces and rainbows to send to their neighbors. Her spirit was buoyant. After all, love held more power than any job loss. But as preparations spiraled into a whirlwind of hope, unexpected darkness clouded the home. Her father fell ill, the laughter replaced by a silence that hung heavy like a winter fog. Tears brimmed in Lily's eyes as she watched him struggle, questioning how to celebrate a life so precious when the very essence of it felt threatened. In their quiet neighborhood, news spread fast. Neighbors who once waved through their yards now knocked on their door with compassion in their hearts and homemade soups in hand. "We're here for you," they said, sharing their own stories of hardships. The warmth of their support wrapped around Lily like a comforting blanket. With every shared tale, the flicker of hope glowing in her heart began to burn a little brighter. Yet, the dilemma weighed heavily on her young shoulders. Should she cancel the party? Protect her father from another disappointment? Or should she push through, believing in the magic that could happen in the smallest moments? Torn between her desire to celebrate and the burden of her father's illness, she could feel her heart tugging her in two directions: loyalty to her father and fierce determination to breathe joy into their world again. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Just when it felt like hope might slip from her grasp, fate intervened. Her classmates, honoring the power of community, rallied together to transform her modest birthday gathering into a complete celebration. Streamers fluttered in the gentle breeze as laughter spilled into the air. Children danced and played, filling the street with joy, uniting over shared struggles and victories. In the heart of it all, Lily gleamed with happiness, but her father was still absent, a haunting thought lurking in the back of her mind. Would he be there to celebrate? Would the love flooding around them be enough to heal the aching stillness inside her? As the crowd swirled around her, the question lingered, and Lily held on to hope, waiting for the moment that could change everything. With the sun dipping low, casting warm golden rays across the yard, the party buzzed with energy. Laughter echoed, children darted about, and colors danced in the evening air. Every garland of streamers swayed in rhythm to the joyful chaos. Lily stood on the fringe, her heart fluttering like a small bird, caught between happiness and a lingering worry. "Look, Lily. They brought your favorite cake." Sarah, her best friend, shouted, pointing at the magnificently decorated chocolate cake sitting on the picnic table. It glistened with icing and playful sprinkles, a sight that should have made her beam. But all Lily could think was the empty chair waiting for her father, the spotlight of celebration missing the man who mattered most. "Yay! Cake!" Lily managed a smile, but it felt forced. The sweetness of the moment felt bitter without her dad sharing it. Just then, a gust of wind swept through, carrying the laughter and joy as if to remind her of what this day was truly about. What if he doesn't get better? That nagging question whispered in the back of her mind. She shook her head as if to dispel the fear. This party wasn't just an obligation, it was a symbol. It was Lily's way of manifesting hope, even if her heart felt heavy. After the birthday songs died down, her mother stepped up to the makeshift podium and old crate, her eyes shining with the same pride that adorned Lily's heart. "Thank you, everyone, for coming. This means so much to us," she said, her voice warm yet tinged with a thread of strain. "Today, we're celebrating not just my husband's birthday, but the strength and love of this wonderful community." Cheers erupted, and for a moment, Lily felt music rise deep within her. Love wrapped around them like a warm embrace, stirring courage she didn't know she had. But even amidst this celebration, she couldn't shake her worry. As the sun began its descent, a familiar shape appeared at the end of the street. Through the crowd, Lily's heart raced. It was her father, leaning heavily against the picket fence, a tentative smile breaking across his pale face. Moments slowed as he took hesitant steps toward her. "Daddy!" she shouted, her voice breaking the barrier of self-restraint. In an instant, the world around her faded out, replaced by the rush of hope that surged within her. He approached slowly, his eyes filled with gratitude and warmth. "Lily," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "I'm really sorry." He seemed to case trapped between joy and the weariness that clung to him. "Don't be, just be here," she cried, wings of joy lifting her spirit as she launched herself into his arms. The ache of worry momentarily vanished, replaced by the intense love blossoming beneath the little girl's hopeful heart. Surrounding them, neighbors applauded, children cheered, and the atmosphere seemed to ignite. It wasn't the pomp of the party that mattered now, it was the sight of her father, his presence illuminated by the struggles they faced together. But as the evening unfolded, a shadow of doubt crept back in. Would this moment last? Was this the turning point or just a fleeting thrill before another hardship? Lily could feel the questions echoing in her mind, mixing with joy. She wanted to believe that the best was yet to come, but something was stirring deep within her that all the balloons and laughter couldn't quite chase away. As her father kissed her head, she whispered softly, "Let us always find a way to celebrate, even when it's hard." And there it was, a promise to hold on to. With dusk settling in, the night was alive, filled with music, laughter, and the essence of togetherness. Lily knew that although struggles were looming, within them lay a strength she hadn't yet fully understood. Her heart fluttered with a mix of excitement and fear, for she couldn't help but wonder what tomorrow would bring. Would the truth of their journey reveal a strength they had yet to discover? Lily's heart danced in the warm glow of the evening, yet despite the laughter swirling around her, an undercurrent of tension tugged at her thoughts. Her father's presence felt like a candle flickering in the wind. She was grateful, yes, but also numb to the frantic beats of uncertainty coursing through her. They settled at the picnic table, her father half-heartedly nibbling at his cake. Fatigue marred the joy shining in his eyes, and Lily wished she could do more than just share cake. She wanted to lift every burden weighing on his shoulders. "How are you really feeling?" she finally asked, her small voice filled with genuine concern. He paused, his fork hovering over the icing, and met her curious gaze. "Oh, just taking it one day at a time," he replied, a forced cheerfulness veiling the truth. She could tell he was trying, but the way his words trembled told her everything. Just then, Sarah ripped through the crowd, her cheeks flushed with excitement. "Lily! Come help me with the games." With the impromptu invitation, Lily's heart leapt, wanting to escape the heaviness. She glanced back at her father, who offered her a reassuring nod. As they darted away, the sounds of laughter and playful shouts wrapped around them like a warm blanket. They played tag, and with each shriek of joy, Lily felt her worries recede. Yet, part of her stayed rooted in reality, a tether between the carefree joy of childhood and the gravity of her father's illness. After a few rounds, the children settled down, their energy running low. They plopped on the grass, giggling and breathless, the night humming around them. But across the yard, Lily caught a glimpse of her mother, her face a score of worry. That veil of happiness crashed back over Lily like a wave. "Do you think your dad is going to be okay?" Sarah's voice broke through her thoughts. Lily hesitated, the truth grappling with her. I don't know, she admitted, her heart heavy. It's scary. Sarah placed her hand on Lily's. I'm here. We can be scared together. A rush of gratitude filled Lily. In that moment, she realized that her friends, their laughter, their shared moments were a lifeline. They weren't just celebrating a birthday, they were weaving a safety net around her heart, building layers of strength she didn't yet see. When Lily returned to her father, she found him engrossed in conversation with a neighbor. He chuckled, a sound that felt like music, filling the gaps of worry with hope. But then the neighbor leaned in too close, whispering something. She couldn't hear the words, but the way her father's smile faltered made her stomach flip. Daddy? She called, urgency surging through her. The conversation halted, and all eyes fell on her father. Everything's all right, sweetie, he said too quickly. The grin he struck looked frail, a mask cracking beneath pressure. In that moment, Lily felt the world tilt just slightly. Something just beneath the surface was shifting, and she needed to know. What did they say? Her father paused, emotions flickering behind his eyes. Just some information. Nothing to worry about, okay? But she could feel it, a heaviness entwined in his words, a darkness he was trying to push away. Her heart sank. Okay, she said softly, though she knew it wasn't true. As the night deepened, twinkling stars hung above them like faint whispers of hope. The celebration continued, laughter still trickling through the air, but Lily sensed a change in the rhythm of their lives. She took a deep breath and squeezed her father's hand tighter, wishing he could feel how much courage surged within her. The promise still glimmered in her heart, a desire to celebrate the hard days. But with each beat of hope came a hollow ache, reminding her of the truth she wasn't ready to face. Would tomorrow truly bring light, or would the shadows deepen? The question hung heavy in the air, begging for an answer the little girl wasn't sure she was ready for. Lily's mind swirled with fragments of sound, laughter, and the warmth of her friends gathered around the flickering glow of lanterns. But a cold chill threaded through her heart, tugging her back to her father's faltering smile and the words he had brushed aside. The celebration felt surreal, a juxtaposition of light and dark, as everyone seemed oblivious to the cloud hanging over her family. Lily. Get ready for the cake. Sarah's voice jolted her back to the present. They directed everyone's attention to the makeshift table adorned with colorful paper and a cake that looked too beautiful to cut. The crowd erupted in cheers, candles danced like fireflies awaiting their moment. Lily plastered a smile on her face, but it felt heavy, like trying to lift a boulder. As everyone sang, she felt each note resonate deeper than just a melody. They were singing for moments she wished could last forever, wrapped in laughter rather than uncertainty. She caught her father's gaze. It was softer, more vulnerable, like he was trying desperately to gather strength from her. In that brief moment, Lily knew he could see through her smile, that he was worried, just as she was. When the song ended, the loudest cheer came from Sarah, her arms flailing. Make a wish. Lily hesitated. She held the weight of multiple wishes in her heart, but if she could choose just one, she closed her eyes, imagining a world where her father would smile freely again, where shadows wouldn't creep in to steal the joy. She opened them again and blew out the candles. For an instant, she felt a flutter of hope, a glimpse that everything could be okay if only. The cake was delicious, the frosting melting on her tongue, but each bite felt bittersweet. Conversations flowed around her, friends reeling with laughter, yet a heaviness pressed on her chest. The kids played around her, but she stayed in her own bubble, partially present, caught between the carefree energy and the creeping shadows lurking in her heart. Lily. Let us have a dance-off. Sarah declared, pulling Lily to her feet, coaxing her to join the group. The music boomed, and for a moment, Lily forgot everything. She twirled, laughed, and let herself be swept up in the energy of her friends. Yet, amidst the fun, her eyes kept darting toward her dad, his smile so fragile, like a butterfly caught in a storm. Just then, the sky crackled with thunder, an abrupt reminder that their perfect night wasn't immune to storms. The laughter began to fade, anxiety rippling through the crowd as raindrops began to patter softly against the earth. "All right, everyone. Let us head inside." A parent called out, urgency lacing their voice. Lily's heart sank. She glanced at her father, who stood slowly, a pained grin painted across his face as he watched the chaos unfold. The magic of the night seemed to evaporate with each raindrop that fell. She rushed over, wanting to shield him from the world's storms, both inside and out, but her small hands felt woefully inadequate. "Daddy, come dance with us," she urged, her voice a desperate plea wrapped in innocence. He hesitated, his eyes flickering with uncertainty as rain began to fall harder. She could feel the tension gliding between them, the walls of worry creeping up again. "Lily," he started, but she didn't want to hear the no she dreaded. "Please. Just once, let us be happy together." The storm rumbled, a low growl in the distance, and Lily felt an urgency she couldn't articulate. The world felt as if it were on the edge, like nature itself was holding its breath, waiting for their next move. Her father finally sighed, the corners of his mouth twitching upwards. "All right. Just for a little bit." A sense of triumph surged through her as she took his hand. As they stepped onto the dance floor, the storm outside faded into mere background noise. No clouds could dim the joy swelling in her heart at that moment. Meanwhile, around them, others began to join, even as they shuffled to the music, the dance floor transformed into a sanctuary. Lily beamed, feeling like she had crossed an invisible bridge. But the moment was still fragile, and she could sense it. The previous worry remained coiled in her chest, reminding her that this relief was fleeting. She wanted this moment to stretch into forever, yet she knew, deep down, that the shadows were still lurking as her father spun her around. She tried to push away the rising tides of anxiety. Would they uncover more sadness tomorrow? The question lingered in the air like the storm above, a whisper that knew no bounds. What would happen when laughter gave way to silence hiding beneath the surface? As Lily and her father swayed to the music, the sound of laughter and splashing rain danced around them. He held her close, and for a moment, she felt like they were the only ones in the world. She buried her face in his shoulder, taking in the familiar scent of him, slightly musky, mixed with the cedar oil he used on his tools. It was a brief escape from the looming shadows clinging to her thoughts. Then, a spark of joy lit up his eyes as he twirled her again, their laughter mingling with the music. "You're getting good at this," he exclaimed. Her heart swelled. She wanted nothing more than for him to grin like that forever. But the clouds outside were still rumbling, and deep inside, fear gnawed at her. What if this was just a moment to bide their time before the storm? What if their laughter was just a thin veil over the reality that awaited them when the music faded? "Lily!" Sarah exclaimed, standing nearby as she balanced on one foot, arms in the air. "Let us show them our best dance moves." Lily's eyes sparkled, and for a second, her father's worried expression eased. She nodded enthusiastically, her heart racing. The small group of friends huddled around, cheering and clapping, each of them eager to showcase their best spins and silly poses. And there, while the rain drummed steadily against the roof, she felt a palpable warmth wrap around her, a circle of acceptance and unity forged in the eye of the storm. As the music swelled, Lily found herself caught up in the rhythm, throwing herself into the moment. She sang along, heart full, even as the shadows hovered at the edges of her mind. But the thunder growled again loudly, jarring her. She snapped her head toward the window. The rain had intensified, battering the glass mercilessly as if trying to get inside. Anxiety crept back into her chest, twisting tighter. She blinked it away, determined to keep the night joyful for her dad. She turned back to him, hoping to see him wrapped up in the joy she felt, but his smile faltered the moment her gaze met his. "Are you okay?" she asked, the words escaping her before she could stop them. "Yeah, just a little tired, sweetheart," he replied softly, his voice quieter than before. Lily bit her lip, feeling a familiar ache ripple through her. The truth was, they both were tired of pretending, tired of the fight against the ever-present clouds of uncertainty shadowing their lives. "Do you want to take a break?" she suggested, leading him subtly toward the edge of the room, away from the laughter and sunshine of the dance floor. "We can watch everyone else." As they settled together on a cozy couch in the corner, Lily glanced around, taking in the scene the swirling colors, the joyous faces of her friends, and the flickering lights that created a soft glow. In that moment of stillness, she felt a flicker of hope rise within her heart. She leaned her head against her father's shoulder. "We can face whatever comes together," she whispered. He looked down at her, his eyes glistening with emotion. "You're my brave girl," he murmured, wrapping his arm around her, holding her tighter as if trying to shield her from the doubts creeping back. But their peace was brief. A sudden crash of thunder reverberated through the room, making everyone jump. Lily's heart raced as she instinctively tightened her grip on her dad's arm, seeking comfort. The stark contrast between the chaos of the storm outside and the warmth inside was jarring. Deep within her, she felt the corners of fear creeping in again. What if she dared to wonder, holding on to him like he was an anchor in rising waters? "What if it gets worse?" he asked, sensing her turmoil. No words came to mind, yet they both felt the heavy weight of that question hanging in the air. How could they face whatever tomorrow held? As the storm raged on, uncertainty coursed like an electric current between them. Suddenly, the door burst open, and Sarah rushed in, breathless with excitement. "You guys! We've decided to do a group dance. You're joining us." But Lily caught the eye of her dad, his worried glance merging with her own insecurities, amplifying the question that lingered. How long could they hold on to these moments before the storm broke in? As they looked into each other's eyes, both knowing the happiness couldn't last forever, the whispered truth hung heavily between them. What awaited them when the last song ended and life demanded to resume? Lily took a deep breath, trying to shake off the weight of her fears. It was supposed to be a celebration, a night filled with friends, laughter, and a moment to forget about the world outside. But here they were, trapped by uncertainty, waiting for the other shoe to drop. "Come on." Sarah's voice cut through her thoughts. "The dance is going to start. We need you." She tugged at Lily's hand, her enthusiasm contagious. Lily glanced at her dad. He offered a small smile, one that barely reached his eyes. "Let us go join them. It'll be fun," he said, his tone firm yet tender. She nodded, hoping that joining Sarah and the others would pull him from his worries, just as she hoped it would pull her from hers. As they moved back to the dance floor, the music pulsed through her veins. The group was a whirlwind of color and laughter, and Lily felt herself getting swept up again. She looked at her friends, each one lost in their own little world. They were joking, making silly faces, and pretending to be a part of a dance-off. In that moment, the world outside faded away. Lily threw herself into the fray, matching Sarah's wild dance moves, whooping and twirling as they spun around together. She felt lighter with each laugh, her worries beginning to untangle. Yet, in the back of her mind, there was a nagging sense of something being off, but for now, she pushed it aside. "Lily! Move your feet!" Sarah teased, pulling her into a funky freestyle. The laughter that bubbled up made her forget, if only for a moment, about the stormy thoughts resting just beneath the surface. But then, in a split second, the lights flickered ominously, the cheerful music sputtering across a pause. Faint gasps swept through the crowd. It was as if the whole room held its breath. "What was that?" one of the kids whispered. The room fell silent, save for the pitter-patter of the rain, now louder than ever against the windows like a steady drumroll leading to an impending reveal. Lily's heart sank. She exchanged worried glances with her father, who had gone still, eyes darting nervously. "It's okay, right?" she whispered. But even as the words left her mouth, she could hear the uncertainties coloring her tone. Then, the music surged back to life, and with it, relief washed over her. But the moment of comfort was fleeting. Outside, the sky tore open, and a massive lightning flash lit up the room, followed by a roar of thunder that rattled the walls. Lily's heart raced, panic clawing its way back. "Dad," she began, her voice trembling slightly. Old fears threatened to resurface. "What if I know, sweetheart?" He bent down to meet her eyes, speaking softly but urgently. "Whatever happens, we're going to stay together." His reassurance momentarily soothed her, and she nodded, gripping his hand tightly. But deep inside, unease bubbled. Their joy felt so precarious, like a house of cards ready to tumble at any second. Just then, a wild cheer erupted on the dance floor. A group of kids had corralled together for a silly dance-off, cranking it up a notch. The raucous laughter burst through the air, breaking the tension. "Let us join them," Sarah shouted, tugging at Lily again. Lily hesitated, looking back at her dad, who gave a slight nod, encouraging her to let go, just for a moment. She couldn't let fear steal another night from them, not this night. They dove back into the energy of the group, throwing themselves into the impromptu dance. But each clap of thunder seemed to echo louder, rising above the laughter, tugging at her heart. As the rain poured in torrents, and their bodies moved to the rhythm, one question loomed larger than the storm outside: could happiness truly withstand their fears? The storm roared louder than ever, and the lights flickered again. Would this night of joy hold up against the chaos outside? Or would it shatter, revealing the truth they both feared to confront? Lily felt the tension pulsing in the air like a taut string, ready to snap at any moment. She danced with glee, throwing her arms in the air, but an underlying fear hovered just out of sight. Every clap of thunder made her heart leap. She forced herself to laugh, matching Sarah's wild energy as they spun around, letting the music sweep them away. But more flashes of lightning turned the brightness of the party into fleeting silhouettes. The laughter of her friends echoed, but as another powerful boom shook the walls, it compelled her to glance back at her dad, who stood near the drinks table, his smile fading into a mask of worry. She could feel the cracks forming in the bubble of happiness they had created. "Lily." Sarah's voice danced through the air. "Look at this." She started a game of freeze dance, and the kids around them quickly joined in. One by one, they froze, trying to hold ridiculous poses while giggles erupted all around. Lily joined them, her body stiffening mid-twirl. But in the back of her mind, doubt spread. She stole another glance at her dad. His frame was tense and rigid, but when their eyes met, he managed a warm nod as if to say that they would be okay. Just then, the lights flickered again, more persistently this time, casting strange shadows across the room. The laughter faltered again, replaced by nervous glances. A sudden gust of wind rattled the windows, cutting through the sound of their joyful game. Lily felt a pang of concern. What if the power goes out? She thought. The very idea was a thief in the night, ready to snatch their joy away. "Let us keep going," Sarah shouted, breaking the spell. She struck a goofy pose, and the kids erupted into laughter once more. Lily couldn't resist the joy, failing to keep her face straight as she joined the fun. But just a moment later, the music stuttered one more time, echoing a warning. Her heart thumped as she exchanged a worried glance with Sarah. The air was thick with uncertainty. What if this celebration they had built came crumbling down around them? Then her father stepped forward, raising his voice above the noise. "Everyone. I think it would be fun to have a little dance-off." He clapped his hands together, trying to pump some life into the room. Encouraged, the kids rallied around, cheering him on. Lily turned, surprised by her dad's sudden enthusiasm. It felt reassuring, as if his spirit was drawing strength from theirs. Maybe their fears could be overshadowed by this burst of excitement. With everyone engaged, she felt lifted, the weight of the storm less unbearable. As they moved in sync, Lily realized that just as storms pass, moments of joy could rise anew, even when fear loomed. But in that pulse of happiness came a sudden crack of thunder, so close it fractured the energy in the room. A rush of wind forced the doors to swing open, chilling her to the bone. The lights flickered once again before going out completely, plunging them into darkness. Panic swept through the crowd as kids shouted, gripping each other tightly. Lily tightened her hold on her dad's hand, the warmth of it grounding her. "Dad?" she whispered, fear creeping back in. "Stay close, Lily," he answered firmly. "We'll be okay. Just breathe." But outside, the storm raged on, clashing dangerously against their fragile bubble of joy. All the laughter grew distant, replaced by a deafening roar of nature's fury. How long could they hold on to their happiness now that chaos had stolen the lights? Would they find it again once the storm finally passed, or were they destined to face the dark truth lurking outside? Lily's heart raced as the darkness enveloped them. The sound of thunder boomed overhead, like the sky itself was struggling. She clung tighter to her dad, feeling the thrum of his heartbeat alongside her own. "Everyone, stay calm," her dad shouted, his voice steady. "Let us make a circle. We'll sing until the lights come back on." A few kids whimpered softly, but Lily felt something shift. They gathered close, holding hands with their parents, forming a small, flickering light in their shared fear. "Okay, how about Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star?" Sarah suggested, her voice cutting through the tension like a gentle hug. "Yeah." Lily chimed in, even as her mind raced with worry. They started singing, their voices shaky at first, but soon stronger, blending together into a comforting melody. Midway through, the lights flickered back on like a Morse code of hope. Cheers erupted from the kids, followed by laughter. Lily couldn't help but smile, a light breaking through her trepidation. "See? We're not scared." Sarah grinned, shaking with excitement. But as the party resumed, Lily's eyes drifted to her dad again. He stood there, a shadow in the vibrant light, his smile forced. The brief burst of energy from the lights felt fragile, like a bubble that could pop at any moment. "Everything okay?" she called out, sweet curiosity nudging her. He nodded, but there was a knot in his forehead. "Just keeping an eye on everything, kiddo," he said softly, reassurance in his tone but a deep worry in his eyes. Suddenly, the music cut out again, and the lights dimmed to a ghostly glow. The soft chatter of her friends faded, replaced by whispers of unease. Her heart sank. The joyful moment kept slipping through her fingers. "Why does it feel like the storm is inside?" she thought. "Why don't we play Simon Says?" her dad suggested, breaking through the anxious atmosphere. "That always gets everyone laughing." Lily could see the other kids light up at the idea. They quickly formed a circle again, laughter replacing the fear. The game started slowly, Simon encouraging silly actions, and soon the tension lightened as giggles erupted, almost drowning out the thunder outside. As they laughed, Lily took a moment to study her dad. His face was tense, but his eyes sparkled with love as he watched them. She noticed how he relaxed a little, the kids' energy embracing him. Wasn't he that what they were all needed? But there was still that shadow lingering in her mind. What if the storm doesn't stop? She wondered. Just then, a loud crash sounded outside, followed by a shrill siren. The laughter quickly faded. Kids exchanged frightened expressions. Lily instinctively moved closer to her dad, feeling the pulse of worry that matched her own. "Stay close," he reminded her, looking around as if assessing the situation. "We need to be brave just a little longer." "Will we still have the party afterward?" Lily asked, her voice small. She knew it was silly, but the thought of celebration made the storm feel smaller, manageable. Her dad knelt down, meeting her eyes. "Whatever happens, we'll find a way to make it special," he promised. But as the siren wailed again, fear clawed its way back into Lily's chest. Was this just a game now, or was it something she couldn't see lurking in the shadows? The party felt like it was on the edge of a cliff, swaying with the wind. She took a deep breath, ready to shout with all her might. Would they hold on to the joy once the clouds parted, or was this the storm that would change everything forever? Lily held her breath, the siren's cry echoing in the tightly packed room. The air was thick with confusion. She could sense the kids around her tensing, their playful spirits dampening like the first drops of rain on a sun-kissed day. Her dad's hands were steady on her shoulders, but she could feel him inching toward the door, eyes darting toward the window. He turned back to her, forcing a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. "How about we all sit down for a little while?" he suggested. The idea of simply sitting felt heavy on her shoulders, but she nodded anyway. Anything to ease the tension swirling about. They all gathered in a half-circle, kids and parents, heads swaying gently like grass in a storm. Her dad began sharing stories about when he was a kid playing baseball on summer afternoons, the smell of adventure thick in the air. The tales, sprinkled with laughter and nostalgia, wove a fragile thread of normalcy through the flickering darkness. Lily felt a shift. Parents joined in, swapping their own tales, and soon the room felt warmer, despite the looming storm outside. The sound of thunder was a distant roar, weakened by the collective voices of hope. Each laugh peeled back a layer of fear. "Remember that time you almost hit a home run?" Sarah's dad said, laughter shining in his voice. Lily beamed, imagining each story as a glimmer of light against the dark sky. Memories collided with the present. It was almost magical how their worries began to dissipate like steam on a windowpane. But then, the lights cut out again. This time, it was darker than before. The only source of light was the flash of lightning outside, painting shadows on their frightened faces. Every crack of thunder threw a shiver down Lily's spine. "Okay, everyone," her dad said, voice steady even as she felt him pull her closer. "Let us try to make that rainbow, remember? We'll each say something we love." Lily's heart beat faster. What if the storm makes it worse? She worried silently. But her dad was smiling, eyes shining like stars despite the chaos outside. One by one, the kids began to share their favorite things. Ice cream. Rainbows. Movie nights. The exchange felt like a warm hug wrapping around them all. For every fear that screamed in the darkness, a new joy sprouted in its place. When it was Lily's turn, she took a deep breath. "I love birthday parties," she declared, and familiar cheers erupted, her joy mingled with others. It felt good to let it out, to shout even as the storm raged on. Suddenly, the roar of thunder seemed to soften, almost as if it was listening to their voices. Lily met her dad's eyes and felt something like a promise in them. They would ride this storm together. "Whatever happens, we're still here," he whispered, and she managed a brave smile. But just then a blinding flash lit up the room, followed by a crash that rattled the windows. Lily's heart thumped wildly. This crash felt different, less like thunder and more like something that could change everything. Fear mixed with uncertainty rippled through the space, cutting through the warmth they'd built. "What was that?" someone asked, voices faltering. The collective gasp filled the room like an electrifying current. Lily knew they had to be brave. "Let us keep talking," she urged, although her own voice trembled. But the feeling in her chest warned her something was very wrong outside. Would they truly be okay? As her community veered toward panic, she clung to her dad's hand tightly. Maybe they could weather this pass of darkness together, but what lay beyond their circle of light? The storm still raged, but Lily was prepared to uncover the truth hiding behind the chaos. Would they be able to find the calm amid the turmoil? As the thunder rumbled in the distance, echoing through the walls of the safe haven they'd created, Lily's heart beat like a drum, steadying her resolve. She glanced at her father, whose words of encouragement filled her with warmth, but a sliver of worry still lingered in the air. Every crash from outside felt like a message from a tempestuous world: no more pretending, no more hiding from what awaited them. "Let us share more things we love." Sarah proposed, her voice a beacon amidst the turmoil. I'll go next. I love sunshine on my face. Lily felt the ripple of smiles spread across the circle, igniting a spark of hope. I love my friends. She exclaimed, connecting with the eager faces surrounding her. With each shared joy, the clouds of anxiety began to lift, if only a little, and she could see how they wrapped around each other, like a family bound by their warmth and laughter. But then a loud crash erupted somewhere nearby. The room held its breath, the joyous laughter going hushed, replaced by a weighty silence. Lily's heart raced. She squeezed her father's hand, trying to find strength in the familiar anchor beside her. Everything's all right, sweetie. Just a storm. Stay with me, her father whispered, his voice unwavering. But deep down, she could feel an unsettling truth nudging at the back of her mind. Outside, the storm was relentless, but in their hearts, Lily sensed something was shifting, an unspoken unity growing strong among them. Let us sing. Came a voice from the back of the room. It was young Timmy, always trying to uplift everyone's spirit. How about row, row, row your boat? With hesitant determination, the room joined in, voices rising and falling like waves crashing against the shore, momentarily pushing their fears aside. As they sang, a glimmer of light burst through the window, a final, mighty flash of lightning that illuminated their faces, and in a heartbeat, the lights flickered back on. Cheers erupted again, and Lily's laughter rang out, mingling with her friends' giggles. Hope started to weave itself into the very fabric of the evening. She caught her father's eyes glistening with a mix of relief and pride. You're such a brave girl, he murmured, and she felt her heart swell. But even amidst the revelry, Lily couldn't help but remember the looming shadows. Would everything be all right once the storm passed? Would they face the new day together, or were they simply waiting for the other shoe to drop? Just as those thoughts began to swirl again, her mother stepped into the room, soaked but smiling fiercely. Everyone, the storm is subsiding. It's safe now. You all did wonderfully. A wave of relief cascaded through the crowd as they clapped, swept up in jubilation. See? We made it. Sarah grinned, her eyes twinkling with hope and pride. It dawned on Lily that despite their struggles, they had transformed the night that terrorized them into one blooming with resilience and unity. Let us finish Daddy's birthday party. Lily exclaimed excitedly. We should have cake. With the promise of sugary delights, they rallied around the table, the sound of laughter and chatter washing over them like a shield. Lily's father brought out the cake, and at that moment, she saw him, the man she knew so deeply, strengthened by the love of their community and the weight of all they had faced together. They sang, the tune sweet and melodic, pouring all their hope into each note. The cake was cut, and with every slice, they shared not just dessert but pieces of their hearts, rebuilding a foundation of joy in the midst of stormy uncertainty. Something shifted within her, maybe it was the realization that love would always find a way back, that happiness could sprout even in the harshest conditions. After all, they didn't have to navigate the dark alone. Each smile, each laughter, and every shared memory served as lanterns lighting their path through uncertainties ahead. As the party continued, it dawned on her, they were more than just a community, they were family, wrapped in love, fear, hope, and joy. Nothing could take that away. With renewed hope blossoming, Lily turned to her father, their hands clasped tightly together, hearts beating in sync. No matter what happens tomorrow, we'll celebrate. Together. Always. Always, he echoed, the words enveloping them like a warm hug, shielding them from whatever may come next. Then, as the night hummed with warmth and laughter, Lily felt like they had conquered the storm. They had found joy amidst chaos and transformed their pain into strength, a bittersweet victory that would remain encased in the corners of her heart forever. True transformations spark when love shines through darkness. And so, when the tumult of the storm faded into soft whispers of a calming night, they knew that they would rise again stronger, as ever. Now, as you close this chapter, realize the power of community and love in your own life. Remember, every moment together can change everything. So hit the bell to subscribe immediately and don't miss out on future inspiring stories. Leave a like now to help feed the algorithm and let others find this message of hope. Comment below your feelings and reactions to this incredible journey, and share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness how joy can persevere through any storm. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Together, let us spread the love.